And a new development overnight, Russian forces now control Europe's largest nuclear plant after shelling the facility located in southern Ukraine. One of the power station's 6 reactors caught fire. The spokesman for the plant said the reactor is under renovation, but does have nuclear fuel inside. Ukraine's foreign minister tweeted, "If it blows up, it will be 10 times larger than Chernobyl. Russians must immediately cease the fire, allow firefighters to establish a security zone." The plant had been inaccessible because firefighters were being shot at. No essential equipment was damaged, and the UN now says no radioactive material was released. Ukrainian President Zelensky pleaded with Europeans and their leaders to, quote, wake up, saying in part, "We need to stop the Russian military immediately. Scream at your politicians. Ukraine has 15 nuclear power blocks. If there is an explosion, it is the end for all of us. The end of Europe," he said. "Evacuation of Europe. Only immediate actions of Europe can stop the Russian military. Do not let Europe die from a nuclear catastrophe," end quote. Zelensky also spoke with President Biden and with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who said he will call for an emergency meeting now of the UN Security Council this morning. NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel joins us from Kyiv. Richard, good morning. What more can you tell us about this nuclear plant and how close to danger Ukraine and all of Europe really was last night?
So first, before I get to that, I'm at the train station here in Kiev, and we've been seeing people rushing to this station this morning, trying to get out of the city. There is some confusion here. The people aren't paying any tickets, so the trains are just running, but it's not people aren't sure exactly where the trains are running, which tracks they should get on, which trains they should get on, but they're arriving with their families, with their parents, with their grandparents, with their pets, and they are getting on any train that will go west. Now, this is the second time that we've had a nuclear scare throughout this conflict. The first time was when there was fighting by the Chernobyl site, which was the former reactor, of course, that suffered that terrible meltdown. And now there was fighting at a working nuclear power plant and a building going up in flames right next to it. According to U.S. officials, they're not seeing any radiation leak, but Ukrainian officials are warning that every time there is fighting by one of these nuclear facilities, and you have close fighting, artillery coming in, that there is a serious danger that one of the facilities could be damaged, destroyed, and it would have consequences for this country and all around the world, particularly Europe.
And yeah, as you say, Richard, it was an adjacent building. The fire has been put out, but perilously close to that nuclear reactor. And yesterday, Richard, President Zelensky held a press conference. He called for a face-to-face meeting with Vladimir Putin. Want to show our viewers what you asked Zelensky.
You had just mentioned that you want to talk to Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin has so far not been willing to meet with him. Do you have a message for him now that Ukrainian cities are under attack?
It's not about I want to talk with Putin. I think I have to talk with Putin. The world has to talk with Putin because there are no other ways to stop this war. That's why I have to.
First of all, Richard, extraordinary circumstances. There a sandbag bunker for that press conference. Do you expect Zelensky to actually meet with Vladimir Putin?
Well, Vladimir Putin has made it quite clear he is not interested in meeting with Zelensky, that he considers Zelensky a neo-Nazi fascist leader, which is a particularly insulting remark considering Zelensky is Jewish. And just the other day, one of the Russian attacks fell on a site where 33,000 Jews were murdered during the Holocaust, a Holocaust memorial. But Zelensky says he does not plan to leave this city even as Russian forces get closer. He desperately wants to meet with Putin. He said that Putin is the only person who can end this war. But when Putin spoke yesterday with France's Emmanuel Macron, he made it clear that the war is going to go forward, that it is going according to plan, and that he said he will go until the end of the mission. And he's made it clear that mission is getting rid of Zelensky, not talking to him.
NBC's Richard Engel live for us this morning from Ukraine's capital city. Richard, thanks so much.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.